Hi guys, Vino here and welcome to this OTGV or on the go video, or basically a vlog from my phone. It's currently Tuesday the 13th of May 2025 and it's 15:03 or 3:03 PM on that said day. I hope you guys are doing really well. I'm doing pretty damn fantastic. A little bit of a delay on getting this OTGV on the way. Normally I do these OTGVs literally a few minutes or a couple of hours after the other one ended, but I've kind of gotten a bit deep into another YouTube channel called No Rolls Barred, which is a series of British YouTubers. Sometimes I have guests on of other nationalities, but they're mainly based in London. And they play through a series of games, board games, whatever it may be. And I've gotten really invested in the channel over the last few days. So I've been binging a lot of their content. I'm currently watching them play Nemesis Lockdown Part 2. Because I watched them play Nemesis Retaliation, which was actually given to them by Awaken Realms. I can't remember if that one was an ad or not, or whether they just got sent it by Awaken Realms. So I'll work my way backwards because Nemesis Retaliation is the third Nemesis game in the series of Nemesis games. There was Nemesis Lockdown, and then Nemesis Retaliation. And probably when I've watched this one, I'm going to move on to watching ISS Vanguard, which is also by Awaken Realms, which is a game I've had my eye on for quite some time, to be honest, because it was recommended to me by the person that I bought all of those board games from a few years ago that I haven't played. The guy that I bought Bard Song from, Bloodborne, Destinies. What else did I buy from him? Neverrain, or The Everrain, sorry, it's called. Endure the Stars. Yeah, all those board games that I bought from that fella a good few years ago. They need some table time, and they'll be getting some table time very soon. I am planning on overhauling my recording room at some point in order to facilitate some things that I want to do in that room. So that will be coming probably the next couple of weeks while I'm still off work or signed off work at the moment. I'll look at doing that, but that is coming forward very soon. Actually, very soon. Next couple of days, I'll probably get to work on that, and probably by the weekend, I'll have that room all organised and ready for recording the way that I want it set up, for recording how I want it to be set up. So that will be all well and good. And then I'm going to move on to watching a playthrough of Citadels, because it seems there's some juicy stuff that happens in that game. I'm starting to realise I really like games with a deception mechanic in them somehow. So each of the Nemesis games, each of the characters, the players, get an action, a private action. They've got to try and complete an objective that they got to try and complete. But that objective could be to screw over the other players. It could be to kill one of the other players. It could be to leave no survivors. Leave no survivors. I should have done that with a cup over my leave no survivors. That's Bane from Dark Knight Rises, of course. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm beginning to realise I really like games with a deception mechanic. And there was a game they played called Hit the Silk, which has a very strong, it's like a social deception kind of game. And that was such a good watch. Laurie is savage in that game to another player called Molly Rose. Absolutely savage to Molly Rose. Poor Molly Rose in that particular video, that particular game. But yeah, I've been binging their stuff over the last few days. So yeah, that's probably why there hasn't been much videos. The other reason why there hasn't been many videos is the side effects of sertraline have been kicking my butt. If you look up the side effects of sertraline, it can be nausea, dizziness, lethargy. You can have some depressive tendencies. And I've just been in bed watching No Rolls Barred for the last few days. Haven't really felt that motivated, to be honest. I felt quite nauseous over the last few days. I'm trying to combat that. It's one of the things it tells you to combat the nausea is to take tablets while you're eating or just after you've eaten. I've just eaten a meal deal from my local co-op. I've been trying to do that over the last few days. I've been trying to eat. Take my sertraline while I'm eating. I'm still feeling quite nauseous, so I don't know what's going on in terms of that. It may just be I've got to wait a couple more weeks before the side effects die down, so to speak. It does say online that the side effects can take a couple of weeks to die down, so that could just be the case. But yes, the combination of those two things have resulted in less video output as it stands at the moment. I hope you guys understand from that point of view. But I'm going to go for now, watch some more of this video, relax for a bit, and I'll be back with you guys later on for an update. Hi there guys, so I'm back. It's currently 00:51 or 12:51 AM on Thursday the 15th of May 2025. It's been a couple of days. I think last I did the last segment. That's a bit redundant to say it that way. Yes, since the last segment, I have continued my, I wouldn't say gradual, my deep descent into No Rolls Barred, and I have watched a lot of their videos over the last few days. Should I be embarrassed about the amount of videos that I've watched from No Rolls Barred? No, I don't think I will, because I've very much enjoyed myself with everything that I've watched so far, and I think this is going to be my new special interest for the next little while. One thing I was actually going to say on this video is I might be, not quite sure, I might be putting the Switch 2 on a further back burner. For a longer back burner. I've just noticed there's a cobweb from the lamp over there right up to the ceiling, which obviously means a spider has decided to make its way into that light. Or the opposite, has decided to go up to the ceiling. I'm not the biggest... Oh, I can see it. I can actually see it. That doesn't... I'm not the biggest fan of spiders. So the fact I can actually see said spider on the... I shouldn't have gone looking. Now I'm going to be looking up there constantly. It's not the biggest spider that I've ever seen. I'll say that much. But it's definitely... Oh, it's not a spider. Where's the spider then? I shouldn't go looking. I should not go looking for that spider. Otherwise, I'll just get paranoid about it being up there. But yeah, there's a cobweb. The reason why I mention that is a while ago, I had to change the bulb in that lamp, and at the base of the lamp was a load of dead insects. Yes, I know technically a spider is not an insect, but you know what I mean. There's a bunch of flies, spiders, all sorts in the bottom of that lamp. My dad, or housemate, actually cleaned it out a while ago. Again, not the biggest fan of spiders. I love all dead. I do have somewhat of arachnophobia, so obviously that was not on my top 10 things of what I'd like to do. In fact, on my bottom 10 things of what I'd rather do, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yes, I am strongly thinking of putting the Switch 2 on a further back burner, pushing it much further down the year. You can't get hold of one at the moment. They are literally selling out everywhere. Some places that didn't want the money up front now want the money up front, and quite frankly, I don't have £420, just to splurge right now on a Switch 2, to be very frank. On that one, there are many places that you could, put a pre-order in, and they didn't need the money up front. They're now changing that, and there's a lot of places that now want the money up front, so obviously that's a bit of a kicker. In some respects, I think it's going to be a bit of a PS5 situation. I think for the first couple of months, it's going to be difficult to get hold of the Switch 2 And then when they're finally available, when there's enough out there, maybe I'll get one. Then maybe I'll get one off of Facebook Marketplace when someone inevitably gets bored. That's how I got my PS5. Ironically, someone just got bored of it and didn't want it anymore, and it was just right place, right time, because I actually got my PS5 right in the middle of the PS5 shortage. I'm using air quotes because depending on where you looked, yes, there was a PS5 shortage, but you know, for instance, a base PS5 at CX when I bought my PS5 was like £925 or over £1,000, depending on the version of PS5 at CX. I don't know why a high street store was getting in on the scalping market, but that's a different video for a different day for now. But I got that off of someone on Facebook Marketplace that literally bought it at launch, and it just collected dust because around the same time their brother gave them or sold them, whatever it may have been, a gaming computer, and they took up PC gaming and, you know, didn't use their PS5, and I've been the very, very happy owner of that PS5 ever since. So, excuse me, from that point of view, maybe I'll find one on Facebook Marketplace. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, yes, I'd much prefer the warranty, to be honest, but we'll see where things go. Obviously, I'm not going to buy it from the scalpers. They can do one, if I'm being honest. I hate scalpers in so many different ways. One of the main ways I hate scalpers is when you agree to a price on a Facebook Marketplace. And I've had this literally where I set off to go to the person and I get a message from them saying, oh, by the way, it's now £20, £40, £50 more expensive. I've had sometimes from some people because in the meantime they decided to look it up online. In my opinion, if you've already settled upon a price and I'm making my way to you, you stick to that price. But a lot of them have turned around, one particular one, turned around to me and said, you know, it's not yours, or the price isn't settled until you've bought it, which is, ironically, that's retail. That's retail kind of policy. But I don't know. It just feels wrong to me to do that. I've never done that myself. So, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm going to continue my descent into No Rolls Bards videos and their channel and everything for now. I do need to, probably tomorrow and Friday, I will, well, it is technically, and when I say tomorrow and Friday, I mean today, later on today and Friday, I'll use these 2 days to work on my recording room, get back how I want it, and then I can start doing some videos up there, board game videos, all that kind of stuff. And that's the plan for the next couple of days. But for now, I'll check back with you a little bit later, guys. Hi there, guys. So it's currently 17:21 or 5:21 on Saturday the 17th of May 2025 as I record this segment. I've literally just watched episode 6 of season 2 of Doctor Who. If you don't want to be potentially spoiled on that episode, then I would strongly suggest skipping over this segment or this part of the video. But I am going to briefly talk about that episode. I've also watched the Confused Adipose's reaction and breakdown of the episode as well. I personally really enjoyed the episode. It's the Interstellar Song Contest, the one with Rylan in it and Graham Norton, of all things. But there's a couple of the episode itself I really enjoyed. I think the theme behind it was maybe a little bit on the nose, you know, genocide for a resource of a particular area, planet, in this particular case, helium. That's been done many, many times before, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's definitely something at the moment with the current political climate of the world, which is the tariffs going on at the moment. I think this ironically does hit a little bit when it comes to some areas of the world being harvested so to speak, or what's the word? Leech from, like a vampire kind of thing. Yeah, I'll say no more than that at this moment in time. But I think there are some themes there that are parallels to what's currently going on. Now, this episode was written, shot, although there were some reshoots this year for season 2, but this was written, shot, and edited and everything before the current tariff situation happened. But I think there's some parallels. I do think there's some parallels, but between being there's a particular word that I'm trying to think of right now. I suppose being used, being sucked dry, sort of stuff like that. I can see the motives behind the terrorists, because they were terrorists in the episode. I did like a couple of the reveals. One of them was telegraphed very early on in the episode. Then we get a surprise cameo from none other than Carol Ann Ford, the original actress who appeared in the very first episode of Doctor Who back in 1963, as Susan Foreman, as the Doctor's granddaughter. So that's going to be an interesting... She only appeared little bits throughout the episode, but I'm very interested to see what happens there. We also get a bit of a heel turn for the Doctor, which is strongly hinting towards a potential Valeyard. We know that the Valeyard is somewhere between the Doctor's... Is it... I've forgotten... 10th and 17th? Something like that. I can't remember. I have seen Trial of the Time Lords, but it's been a while since I've seen that. But obviously in the Trial of the Time Lords, which is a Colin Baker story, the Valeyard is a evil personification or an evil regeneration of the Doctor. Basically all of the Doctor's evil qualities. And this is definitely a Valeyard turn. RTD, Russell T Davies, has hinted at there is going to be some more returns from Classic Who. We'll talk about the reveal at the end in a moment, because that is a Classic Who reveal as well. But I would really like to see the Doctor go towards the Valeyard. And I strongly think this is why RTD has introduced bi-generation, because I think he's going to bi-generate Ncuti Gatwa into Valeyard. Valeyard will pop out, Ncuti Gatwa will pop out the other side, so to speak, and one of those incarnations or bi-generated incarnations will be the Valeyard. And I think that's going to be a way to still have the Valeyard and have that canonically happen, but to still keep the good Doctor, so to speak. That's my personal thoughts on the matter, and I'm just going to go straight into it. By the way, the performances throughout this episode were fantastic. I loved seeing Rylan. I thought Rylan was actually really fun. I haven't been the best fan of Rylan over the years. I think he's a bit conceited, but at the same token, he did make fun of himself at parts in this episode where, when he first got into her teeth, dazzling, and then at the end where he gets unfrozen and Belinda goes, "You've just been resuscitated or revived from death." He goes, "Oh, much like my career," which is definitely a little nod, a little criticism against Rylan himself, which, if someone who comes across a bit conceited, maybe a bit arrogant, is willing to make those sorts of jokes at themselves, hey, at the end of the day, maybe I've read Rylan wrong. To be honest, I've recently found out or realised that I've gotten a lot of people wrong over the years. That's just my personal, growth as a person that I've realised that. So let's, being arrogant, being conceited, being vain doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. It's just how you go about doing that and how you impose that on other people, or not, as the case might be. And then we're just going to go straight to the end credit scene of the bi-generation of Mrs. Flood into, the reveal of Mrs. Flood as the Rani. and the bi-generation of the Rani and a Rani. There are 2 Ranis. Now, which is, I actually really liked that reveal. To be honest, I kind of knew this was going to happen. It was my personal suspicion, is that the word? Suspicion all along that Mrs. Flood was going to turn out to be the Rani. I have to admit also, I have watched a lot of YouTube content in between each episode, and a lot of them have said that, of course, Flood and Rani is an anagram of rain, obviously, or rain is an anagram of Rani. So Flood, rain, you see where I'm going with that one. A lot of people thought it might be River Song because, Flood, river, that, pond, Amy Pond, obviously, and there's a connection there, obviously. But no, turned out to be the Rani, and yep, rain is a anagram of Rani and vice versa. So that's probably where that comes from. Unless Mrs. Flood now goes on to regenerate into River Song. That would be really weird. That'd be a weird one, wouldn't it? I liked it, personally. There are a lot of people, not a lot of people, I've only seen one video, the Confused Adipose. Confused Adipose, Joseph or Joe, did say that it seemed a little bit tacked on. And it does feel that we've been edged a little bit as Doctor Who fans. It's kind of like, oh, here's the Rani. You've got to wait until next week for, Some people have said in the comment section and on Reddit, because I have had a little look once I watched the episode, because I basically got up at like 2 or 3 p.m. Yeah, I didn't go to sleep till 9 a.m. This morning. Couldn't sleep. I went to bed like 4 in the morning, but didn't get to sleep till like 9. It happens. It happens sometimes. Anyway, so I got up about 2-3 o'clock, went to the shop, came back and just watched the episode before I went to any social media site, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it may be, because RTD said to people, because the way that they're releasing Doctor Who at the moment, because they're releasing one episode on iPlayer at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then of course the episode then airs on BBC One when it standard airs at like 7:45 whenever it goes out. RTD has said don't go on the internet, basically, because you're going to be spoiled at what it is. So I was like, I'm not going on the internet, I'm just coming straight home from the shop and just watching it. So I have. So after I watched it, I then went online, to have a little look at what other people have said about the reveal. And some people are, a lot of people do like it. They do like the reveal, but a lot of people have said, what now? A lot of people have said that the Rani has the surname of Chandra. And we know that Belinda also has the surname of Chandra. So maybe Belinda is also somehow connected to the Rani. That would be actually a much bigger reveal than the Mrs. Flood situation. But as I said, I kind of suspected myself that Mrs. Flood would be the Rani. Or would be a Time Lord of some description, whether that's the Master, whether that's the Rani, whether that's the Valiard, that was another possibility, whether that was the Watcher, that was another possibility. I suppose technically the Watcher is a Time Lord when you think of it. The Watcher is basically how Tom Baker regenerated into Peter Davidson back in the classic era, if you don't know. So yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. I actually did enjoy the ending. Some people are saying, why did the Rani bi-generate? I think to keep Anita Dobson in it, to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Anita Dobson now, but to keep Anita Dobson in it, because, Anita Dobson is Anita Dobson at the other day. But I'm really interested to see how this new actress obviously performs in the role as the Rani, which obviously we haven't seen since was it Sylvester McCoy's era that the Rani was last in, so the 80s. So it's been 40 odd years almost since we've seen the Rani. So it's going to be really interesting. And Susan Foreman, so it's potentially going to be a very Time Lord /lady compact packed finale. Potentially, you're going to have the Doctor. You're going to have maybe the Doctor's granddaughter, Susan Foreman. You might have the Rani and a Rani. Got two Ranis. And there's also a hint that the 13th Doctor, so Jodie Whittaker, might be coming along and helping the Doctor in some way, which I personally would actually really like. I haven't watched Jodie Whittaker's era yet. I'm going to watch it at some point. I might binge through it. I'm still off work for a couple of weeks now, so I might binge through the flux and, get through it basically, because I understand that a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of the Jodie Whittaker era, but I might just, binge through her era and sort of get it over and done with, so to speak, or go through Peter Capaldi's Jodie Whittaker, because there's a chance Jodie Whittaker is going to turn up, although I do need to get through all of Jodie Whittaker's era before next week, if she's going to end up turning up. I personally like that, if I'm being honest, because we know that Jodie Whittaker's era is not the best, wasn't the best received, because of the writing from Chris Chibnall. But I think Jodie Whittaker's Doctor needs a renaissance, needs a something. Because I think Jodie Whittaker's a fantastic actress. She was in Broadchurch. I've seen her in a bunch of things. Really good actress. And it's a shame that she got diddled, in a sense, by her era of Doctor Who. So hopefully, I do hope that she does come back. And if she does come back, it's going to be a very Time Lord packed finale, which I kind of like. It's been a while since we've had, Time Lord on Time Lord, because you have to remember the Time Lords are evil. They're not good people. The Doctor's the only good Time Lord. Yes, we get the Missy arc, obviously, Peter Capaldi's era, but when it comes to most Time Lords, they're not good. Most of them are straight up evil. They're megalomaniacs. They want to control everything, And obviously the Doctor has that in him somewhat. But yeah, I really did enjoy this episode. I'm looking forward to what next week brings. It could be a very Time Lord Lady packed episode, which is interesting. I think that's a bit different direction as to where we've gone in the past. And obviously, there's been the whole family thing. So maybe the Doctor finding out that he's not completely alone would be interesting. And I'm interested to find out how the Rani has survived all these years. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys later on. Hi guys, it's currently 2:47 a.m. on Monday the 19th of May 2025. I've spent most of the weekend sleeping, to be honest. As I said, the side effects of surgery really are kicking my butt right now, and feeling tired and feeling lethargic and stuff like that are definitely some of those symptoms. But I'm still going down my long, deep rabbit hole of watching No Rolls Barred. That's almost consistently and constantly what I've been watching. But ironically, I'm actually watching Insim play some Contraband Police right now, because I've watched him play it before. Really enjoyed him watching. He played through the entire campaign. He's now playing through the Inspector mode. I'm also cooking up some food. Yes, I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 a.m. rambles with Vino. Didn't even clock that it could be a 3 a.m. rambles with Vino as well. But yeah, I'm cooking up some food because I did have some leftovers of a kebab, but I'm starving right now. I haven't eaten brilliantly over the last few days, so I'm cooking up some meatballs, spaghetti, doing a cheese sauce with the spaghetti, and I'm going to have that just to give me some good food. Although I did have a kebab Saturday evening. I did have kebab Saturday evening, but I haven't, I've gone long periods of time without eating anything, like 12 plus hours without eating anything. So I haven't got anything consistent in my stomach, so to speak. And before eating that kebab, I had eaten for like 15 hours. or something. So making sure something decent is in my body, good sustenance rather than just having a sandwich or something. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at this precise moment in time. I'm also going to say here right now, there'll probably be an actual TFAC or a kickback discussion about this as well. I'm actually trading Bloodborne. I'm trading my Bloodborne and all its expansions for Frostpunk and Final Girl. So I've wanted Final Girl, the board game, for bloody ages at this point, and it slipped through my fingers on a couple of occasions. But I'm actually trading somebody all of my Bloodborne base game and the expansions for the Frostpunk game with one of the expansions and another little expansion and Final Girl. I'm also going to be buying from somebody, hopefully, all of Frostpunk apart from one expansion. And I'm also going to be buying at the end of the month XCOM, the board game with Hegemony. Now, Hegemony, unfortunately, isn't a single-player game. I'm going to see if there's been a single-player variant of it, if that is a thing. Because with Edge of Humanity, which is one of the games I own currently, the reason I got that is there's actually a single-player variant of it that the actual creator of the game has actually published on Board Game Geek. Now, sometimes if you go onto various Reddits, some people may have made a single-player variant of the game. So I'll have a look and see if that's a possibility. My idea is I'm going to be selling the Frostpunk base game, as well as any of the expansions that I already have, and then just have Frostpunk on all of its expansions. Yeah, and that's basically the plan at the moment. I'm also going to be selling a couple of my other games to raise some money for some of the ones that I'm buying, because I'm going to be buying quite a bit next month. I do need to recoup some of that cost. I'm probably going to be selling Bardsung, because that's going to get me about £150, because that's about what it's worth for the main game plus Fables, which I have. So yeah, I'll probably sell that hopefully soon, or sell some other the games just to recoup back. And I'm really in a mood right now to play some board games. I'm coming to the end of my addiction to No Rolls Barred, and I'm coming out of that sort of hole with just wanting to play board games, just wanting to boom, 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 play board games. And to be honest, watching No Rolls Barred has helped me sort of learn how to present, doing board games. So that's the plan. That's the plan. I do need to clear up my recording room. Been saying that for a while now, to be honest. But I think we're going to be using one of the boxes to send off Bloodborne. That will free up quite a bit of space for me in order to do what I need to do. Anyway, I'm going to go and cook what I've got set aside to cook up, because I've just heard that the kettle's just clicked off, and I'll be back with you guys in a while. Hi there guys, so it's a few days later. Ironically, it still is 3 AM, so technically this is still a continuation of 3 AM rambles with Vino, ironically, but it's actually 3 AM on Friday, the 23rd of May 2025. I'm actually recording this segment as a sign-off to this OTGV. This OTGV has been going on for 2 weeks now, 1.5 weeks, give or take, and this segment is just to sign off this vlog, and I'll basically be continuing a vlog straight after this one, because I do have some news in regards of me being off sick and stuff like that, but that will be in the next video. What I'll probably do is I'll make the next video a bit shorter, so what all that video will be is just tomorrow and over the weekend, and I'll probably upload it Sunday or Monday, and then you guys can sort of hear the information in that video. I'm going to save the information for that video, because I don't want to put it right at the end as this vlog, because there's less chance people are going to watch all the way through the vlog and then the information get lost on them, so to speak. So I'm going to put it at the beginning of the next vlog, so more people are likely to hear it. But I'm going to sign off on this OTGV guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for the support that people have been showing recently. Take care.